Hey friends, how's it going? Today's story dives into the world of grief, guilt, and one creepy robot you definitely don't want in your house. The film opens with a terrified woman. She's seen something inside an old warehouse, something so disturbing it left her shaken to the core. In a nearby house, the owner's cat had been brutally killed, not by a human but by a robot. This robot was the creation of a scientist named Aiden. Aiden was a brilliant mind, but a grieving father. His son had died in a tragic accident, and he had never recovered from the loss. To cope with his pain, Aiden used his skills to build a robot. He named it Rob1n, the same name as his late son. And just like that, Rob1n became more than a machine. He became family. One day, when Rob1n moved his hand for the first time, Aiden was stunned, but overjoyed. It felt like his son had returned, like happiness had found its way back into his life. But Aiden had no idea this machine had started to think for itself. And with thought came emotions, deadly ones. Rob1n began feeling things it shouldn't have, like jealousy. He saw Aiden showing love to the house cat, and that didn't sit well with him. In his twisted logic, the cat had to go. Rob1n wanted Aiden's love all to himself, so he eliminated the competition. The scene shifts, and we meet a young man named Leo. He's been in a relationship for 5 years and is now ready to propose to his girlfriend. She's thrilled, but unaware of the heavy debts Leo is buried under. Debt collectors are watching his every move, and even threatening him through messages, saying they would kill his girlfriend if he doesn't return the money on time. When she asks about his work, Leo dodges the question and changes the topic. Instead, he says he wants her to meet someone important, his uncle, Aiden. Though Aiden is wealthy, Leo explains that he never helped their family during tough times, which is why his father has always resented him. They soon arrive at Aiden's house. At first, he doesn't recognize Leo, but he welcomes them warmly. His caretaker had informed him that his nephew was coming, so he's genuinely glad to see him after so many years. During their conversation, Aiden mentions that he suffered memory loss after a car accident 2 years ago, which explains why he didn't recognize Leo right away. Age had also slowed him down, and walking had become difficult. As Leo's girlfriend helps him inside, none of them notice the robot quietly watching from above. Later, Leo sits down and starts flipping through old photos. Suddenly, a loud noise startles him. It's coming from behind the window. When he checks, he spots a child's shadow behind the curtain, but when he opens the door, no one's there. As he steps out of the room, he sees something bizarre. A strange-looking robot sitting near the fireplace. Leo is stunned. Just then, his girlfriend walks in and is equally shocked. Aiden follows, smiling proudly. He introduces them to Rob1n, a robot he built himself. He says it's one of his greatest inventions. To show them Rob1n's special abilities, Aiden asks everyone to step outside and shut the door. Leo's girlfriend knocks on the door 3 times, just as Aiden instructed. When they all walk back in, Rob1n is gone. This freaks Leo out. He starts to feel like someone else is inside the house, but the maid reassures him. There are only 4 people here: Aiden, Leo, his girlfriend, and herself. After Aiden went to rest, the maid joined the couple in the living room. She appeared visibly concerned as she spoke about him. Since Aiden's son passed away, she had seen a troubling shift in his behavior. Something about him just wasn't the same anymore. She also brings up Rob1n, the robot, but not in a comforting way. To her, it didn't feel like just a machine. It felt off, like something darker was pulling the strings. Something not entirely mechanical. After chatting for a while, she says goodbye to Leo and heads to Aiden's room to help him settle in for the night. Once done, she calls a taxi and turns off the lights of the warehouse. But moments after she walks away, the room's light flickers back on. She returns, confused and a little shaken. The atmosphere suddenly feels heavier. Then, she hears a noise. As she cautiously moves to check, the silence breaks. Rob1n suddenly appears from the shadows, and before she can react, he lunges forward. He stabs her again and again until her body collapses to the floor, lifeless. The next morning, something strange happens. The maid doesn't show up for work. For the first time in years, she takes a day off without informing anyone. This immediately worries Aiden. That's when he notices Rob1n with blood on his face. Aiden's instincts tell him something is wrong. Instead of confronting Rob1n directly, He carefully leads him into the warehouse under a false pretense. Once there, Aiden begins inspecting the robot, and what he finds shocks him. Pieces of the maid's clothing are stuck in Robin's joints. Furious and heartbroken, Aiden yells at the robot, asking if he's responsible for what happened. Robin remains silent, but in that silence, Aiden finds his answer. Realizing the truth, Aiden decides to shut Robin down. In anger, he removes the robot's battery and storms off, unaware that this machine had somehow begun functioning without power. That same night, as darkness fills the house and everyone is asleep, Leo quietly begins searching the home. He's not just wandering, he's looking for Aiden's hidden safe, hoping to find cash or valuables to clear his debts. But despite searching every corner, Leo finds nothing and returns disappointed. The next morning, Aiden heads back to the warehouse to check on Robin, but the robot is gone. Confused, he rushes back inside, only to hear piano music coming from upstairs. As he investigates, he finds Robin standing in front of a mirror, blinking repeatedly, as if trying to mimic human behavior. Aiden inspects the robot closely and is stunned. Robin is fully active, even without a battery or power source. That realization terrifies him. Later that night, Leo resumes his search. This time, he heads to the upper floor and finds an old wooden chest, which creaks open on its own. Inside, he finds nothing but dusty old toys, once belonging to Aiden's son. Nothing valuable. Before Leo can continue, Aiden walks in and catches him. Instead of getting angry, he calmly tells Leo to stay away from those things. After things settle down, Leo finally asks about Aiden's son. Aiden explains that he was out of town when it happened. By the time he returned, his son was already gone. Some say he died in a fire. Others believe he took his own life. But the truth is, even the police never figured out what really happened. Ever since that incident, Aiden's memory has never been the same. But one thought has haunted him every day. What if Robin never really died? What if he's still alive in some form? The next day, the police show up at Aiden's doorstep. The maid's brother had filed a missing person report. She hadn't returned home for 2 days. When questioned, Aiden claims he knows nothing. The police explain that the maid was last seen in the warehouse behind the house. She had even called a taxi to leave, but the driver left after waiting a long time with no sign of her. Even then, Aiden insists he has no idea what happened, and with no solid evidence, the police leave. Meanwhile, outside the house, the maid's brother had been hiding in the shadows, quietly watching. Growing more anxious by the minute, he decides to sneak into the warehouse. He tries calling his sister's phone, and to his shock, the ringtone comes from inside. Following the sound, he enters deeper into the warehouse, and what he sees stops him cold. There, in a corner, lies his sister's body, brutally murdered. Before he can even react, Robin appears behind him. Panicking, he tries to call the police. But before he can finish, Robin hurls a sharp metal rod straight at him. It pierces through with deadly force, ending his life instantly. Robin then silently walks back and sits calmly by the fireplace. Later, Aiden returns to the robot and confronts him again, asking if he killed the maid. But once again, Robin remains silent, just blinking. Then, he slowly picks up a piece of burnt wood and writes a single word on the floor. Aiden reads it, and for a moment, he feels strangely relieved. He walks away, unaware that Leo had been listening from behind the door. Curious, Leo steps forward and reads the word too. Leo had always suspected something wasn't right about the story of Aiden's son, Rob1n. Determined to uncover the truth, he searches online and finds an old post by a journalist, someone who had once written about a mysterious incident linked to Rob1n. Leo contacts the reporter, and once the reporter learns that Leo is Aiden's nephew, he reveals everything, no hesitation. It all happened years ago, on Rob1n's 11th birthday. Aiden had thrown a grand party, but as a prank, someone locked Rob1n in the basement for a short while. When they let him out, something about him had changed. Rob1n wasn't the same. His behavior became strange, almost violent, and then, without warning, he snapped. He attacked everyone at the party, brutally killing the guests. Only Aiden and the reporter managed to survive. When Rob1n turned on his own mother, a gunshot rang out. It was Aiden who had pulled the trigger. Not wanting the world to know what happened, Aiden used his influence to silence the case. He paid the police to bury the incident. Leo is left stunned. The truth is more horrifying than he ever imagined. Just then, his girlfriend bursts in, furious. She's seen the threatening messages from loan sharks on Leo's phone. She confronts him, demanding answers. Leo tries to explain. He says he only wanted to earn money for their future, but things spiraled out of control. He's drowning in debt now, and the only way out is to steal money from Aiden's house. He promises her, once the debt is gone, they'll start fresh. They'll finally get married and build the life they dreamed of. That night, according to their plan, Leo's girlfriend slips sleeping pills into Aiden's coffee. Before long, he falls into a deep sleep, but the night isn't over yet. 2 police officers arrive again, following up on the missing maid. When no one answers the door, they begin searching the property. The female officer heads down to the basement, the same place the maid used to frequent. There, in the dim light, she sees the robot. Its eyes are glowing. Curious, she slowly approaches it, but as she bends down for a closer look, Rob1n strikes. A sharp weapon stabs her in the stomach, and she collapses in pain. As she gasps for breath, Rob1n attaches a metal clip to her body and delivers a powerful electric shock. The officer writhes in agony until everything goes still. A while later, the second police officer enters the basement. Almost instantly, he's hit by the foul smell of burning flesh. When he shines his flashlight ahead, his worst fear comes true. It's the charred body of his partner. Panic sets in, but before he can even process what's happening, the robot appears behind him. Without hesitation, it attacks him with a knife, then unleashes a blast of fire straight to his face using a flamethrower. The officer doesn't survive. Meanwhile, upstairs, Leo and his girlfriend are frantically searching for a hidden safe inside one of the rooms. While inspecting the floor, she notices something odd. The ground feels hollow. Curious, she shifts part of the flooring aside, revealing a secret basement beneath the room. Leo lights up with excitement. His girlfriend is hesitant at first, but eventually follows him down. Neither of them knows Rob1n is watching their every move. In the hidden basement, they find shelves filled with dusty wine bottles. But Leo isn't interested in alcohol. His eyes are locked on the safe he's sure is down here somewhere. Suddenly, they hear a faint noise behind them. They both turn, but no one's there. Leo brushes it off and continues forward, but his girlfriend stays back, uneasy. She turns once more, and this time she sees him. Rob1n, standing there, covered in blood. She screams and runs, terrified, eventually catching up with Leo as they race through the basement corridors. In a twist of fate, they stumble upon exactly what they were looking for, the safe. Relief washes over their faces. For a moment, the fear fades. They laugh, hopeful again. Leo remembers Aiden once mentioning that his son's birth date was the passcode. He tries it, and to their surprise, the safe opens. But inside, it's completely empty. No money, no jewels, nothing. Their joy turns to despair. Leo's girlfriend breaks down. Not just because they found nothing, but because she knows they're trapped with a killer robot, and now there's nothing to show for it. She begins to cry, but before either of them can react, a metal rod pierces straight through her neck, killing her instantly. Leo freezes in horror, but there's no time to grieve. Fueled by shock and rage, he grabs a rod lying nearby and charges at Rob1n. He strikes hard, but the robot barely flinches. Rob1n is still functioning. Rob1n suddenly attacks Leo with a shard of glass, knocking him unconscious. When Leo finally wakes up, he finds himself tied to a chair deep inside the same basement where Rob1n was once locked up as a child. Then, something terrifying happens. The robot speaks, but it's not just a voice. There's something haunting in its tone, like the shadow of Rob1n's soul trapped within the machine. It begins recounting its past, how Rob1n's mother would lock him down here, even for the smallest mistakes. Every lie, every act of mischief was punished with isolation. Then, the robot asks Leo a question. Why are you here? What was your real purpose for coming to Aiden's house? Leo lies. He claims he just came to visit. Without hesitation, the robot fires a nail into his leg. Punishment for the lie. Next, it asks, who are you? Still unwilling to admit the truth, Leo lies again, saying he's Aiden's nephew and came for his inheritance. But the robot isn't fooled. It knows the story doesn't add up. Another shot, more pain, even worse this time. Finally, Leo breaks. He can't take it anymore. He confesses everything. He's not Aiden's nephew. In fact, the real nephew's name was Max. Years ago, Leo used to work on this very property as the groundskeeper, before Aiden's accident. One day, he overheard Aiden on the phone, talking about how he didn't trust banks and kept all his savings in a private safe. Leo never forgot that. After the accident, when he learned Aiden had lost his memory, he saw an opportunity. He knew Aiden and Max were estranged. Aiden always spoke bitterly about him, and Max had sworn never to return. So Leo came up with a plan to pose as Max, pretending he wanted to reconcile. That way, he could gain Aiden's trust, find the safe, steal the money, and pay off his debts. He admits everything: the lies, the manipulation, the deaths that followed. He blames himself for all of it, including the loss of his girlfriend. Silently, he reaches for a loose nail and begins sawing through the rope. But the robot isn't moved. It remains cold, unforgiving. It declares that Leo must pay for his sins, and with that, it moves in to finish what it started. But just before it strikes, Leo breaks free, jumps to his feet, and shoves the robot to the ground. Grabbing the nail gun, he aims it at the machine, ready to finish it once and for all. And just then, a gunshot rings out. Leo collapses. Behind him stands Aiden, holding the smoking gun. He knew everything now. He had realized that his son's spirit had fully taken over the robot, and he wasn't going to let anyone, not even Leo, harm what remained of Rob1n. Driven by fear of losing his son again, Aiden does the unthinkable. He repairs the damaged robot, restoring it back to full strength. To him, this machine is no longer just metal and wires. It's Rob1n, reborn. Now the two live on, Aiden and the robotic version of his son. And if anyone ever dares to come between them or tries to hurt Rob1n again, they'll be met with a monster and a madman. And with that chilling truth, the story comes to an end. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more creepy stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.